Hi guys, welcome to About the Mind podcast. Today we have a very interesting episode, which is how does healing happen in yoga. So I would like to welcome Ashwin to the podcast. Welcome, Ashwin.
Thank you, Yuvraj. I was waiting for you to do this episode.
Me too. I was also very eager to do this episode. So I would like to begin with, you know, defining sickness in yoga, as in how does yoga see the cause of falling ill, either mentally or physically.
Hmm. So, in yoga, it's always looked at as karmic in nature. So, karma is the basis of how things run here. It's the software, the invisible software that runs everything physical that you see in the universe, including planets and including human beings and their fortunes. Not only their fortunes, it also governs their health. So, a lot of people have been trying to read karma without actually being initiated or being into a part of a lineage where a lot of people have meditated and that energy has been opened up. See, human beings are exceptional in that we do something for each other. Uh, we can't sustain ourselves if we don't do things for each other here. Nobody's an island, and that's why uh, a lot of people, yogis before us, have sat and meditated upon the nature of why do we have to suffer? Why is it such a big problem? Why can't we behave like adults? If someone disagrees with us, why does our world fall apart? you know, there are people who have sat and pondered all these questions, and they've come up with a lot of answers. And those answers, and not only answers, methods by which we can cure ourselves. As far as I know, yoga is a very old science. Nobody knows how old, but it was formally established, and the word yoga was used by Shankarnath and was formally established 17,000 years ago. And that's not really, um, it sounds like, nowadays we are used to big numbers. We think 17,000 is not a big deal, but it was before language.
Yeah.
Language is probably 12,000 years old. So yoga predates language. So there was no Yoga Sutra. There was no way to write it down. And the only way to pass it on was to create a mechanism, a multi-sensory mechanism to pass it on. And that development of that is called yoga. To be able to develop that multi-sensory, extrasensory, let's call it extrasensory mechanism to see things that are usually invisible to people. That's the power of a yogi. And that is what yoga was. It was a language. It was just a non-verbal, multi-sensory language by which we could tune in into the universe and then find out what's happening. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, why am I so sick? Why am I so sick? And all I ask them is, are you ready to put in the work? And that work is to, first of all, become ready to be cured. Okay, we'll talk about this. Why somebody? How do we know when someone is ready to be cured? Once they become ready to be cured, then also there are obstacles. Even more obstacles come up in terms of um, karmas. There would be so many blockages in their body, but once they are sincerely ready and honestly ready to be cured, it's a matter of nothing for uh, a yogic healer, a yoga siddha, to toss away those blockages that are there, that are stopping them. You can just remove it. But till they are ready, they give until the patient gives you permission emotionally and says, "Yes, I've had enough. I want to be cured." Then the yoga siddha can just take it away. Tak, 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 tak. Once that permission is there, it's all gone. Okay. Then it's a matter of days. The person gets cured in a matter of days, no matter how serious the disease, because the karmas are seen and removed. But till that happens, the person is going to be sick. Okay, so what do you mean by karmas? Karmas are basically a human justice system. It's created by human beings. Okay, justice is something that we created. Like in nature, there's no justice. There's no tit for tat. Justice is basically tit for tat. Okay, so we have made an elaborate list of tits for every tat. It's called Indian Penal Code. Okay,
Yeah.
like that in our mind also we have made an elaborate list of tits for tats. For all the tats that can happen, we have elaborate list of tits, and we call that our moral code. Each and every human being. It's a complete useless waste of time because nature doesn't care about that. And people carry that thing around, and that makes them sick. So when I wrong you according to your moral code, what I have done is wrong to you, then you feel it legitimate that you can get angry at me. Once you get angry at me, I might have violated my own moral code because I'm not because there's not just one idiot in the world. There are many. And when I have also violated my moral code, that I feel guilt. I feel like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. And that doesn't get resolved because various egos don't allow us to resolve it right away, saying, hey, I'm sorry, I did wrong. Like, this is such a difficult thing for people to say. Or sometimes a person dies because of something you did. Okay. And then you feel, oh my God, I couldn't save them. And then you have this moral code that, oh shit, I feel guilty about not being able to save them. My child died, da, 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 wah, wah, wah. A lot of crying will happen. Okay. And and in that crying they'll enjoy that crying, and they'll say, I need to be punished for this. They'll sit and cry, you know, they sit and cry that, I need to be punished for this, and then they'll take another birth where that child that died because of their negligence will come back and be abusive to them, and they're in this, and then suddenly they resent it. That nobody likes abuse, even though the abuse is well justified, and you only gave permission. Yeah, you tell that other soul that you can come and abuse me, and you give that permission, and they're coming and abusing you, but you have no way to sense it because you went to convent, you're western educated, you don't believe in past births. So now you're so screwed. No, how will you fix it? How can you fix this? Because the only way that you can fix it is to go see the past birth and all that information which is there, and you got to sort it out. But people don't prioritize this. They just don't prioritize it. I teach it, I try to teach it, but they just don't prioritize it. And I've been watching this crap. Then I just let them be. I'm like, you're probably enjoying this shit. You know, yeah, man. You can have like piles and fistula and enjoy it. Because you'll be like, yeah, I'm such an unsolvable problem. Nobody can solve it. Such a painful condition. You can have cancer and enjoy it. It's such a painful condition, and then you can enjoy it. You don't want to go into past births and understand why that is. You just feel, this world is just unfair. And look at me, I'm being a hero. And you lose this life. Then you get another life. You have to take another life. You have to learn language again. You have to undergo puberty again. You have to figure out sex again. And it's not like you figured it out in this birth. And then you have to figure out drugs again. And then you have to figure out so many things again. Health again. Do you want to do that? Or do you want to keep this body and keep it healthy so that you can go on fulfilling the desires put in your heart by God? This is what yogis ask normal people, and people are like, what are you talking about? I don't think it make any sense. Like, this is so irritating. Because, sometimes I feel I'm infinitely more intelligent than many people. And if I'm saying something, I don't really open my mouth and say something embarrassing. You know, I'm really sophisticated. So when I tell you there's another birth, listen to me. No, we don't care how sophisticated you are. We're going to treat you like a charlatan. And I was like, why I need this karma? So I started taking my own karma out that, you know, I'm attracting idiots. And I said, I did a Kamakala manifestation where I said, I will no longer attract idiots. After that, I started getting people who are listening to my message, who started appreciating what I'm saying, you know. I don't know what happened. Suddenly all the idiots bounced. And then I'm like, wow, now I can start healing. And that's why we're able to do this episode because all the idiots bounced. Boom, 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 boom. All the 14 people watching this, they're not idiots. So that's how we can even talk about this. So, coming down to it, your question is how does yoga see illness? Illness is a karmic manifestation of something that you can't see, it's invisible. You need a guru's guidance and you need yogic power to be able to see it. And these are real things, they're not just gas. Okay.
And how would someone know that, uh, or rather, how does yoga define the state of a healed person? What does yoga see in such a person?
A healthy person, I mean.
Yes.
A healthy person is following a desire with a passion always. That's what keeps them healthy. And they do not tolerate relationships in which they're not allowed to follow their desire. A healthy person ends those relationships in a second without a second thought. Says goodbye, blocks them and throws them away if they come in the way of his or her desires. And a healthy person is engaged in valuable in exchanges which help other people to get closer to their goals. If I come in your life and I spend 10 minutes in your life, I have to help you get closer to your goal. That's a healthy relationship. In that 10 minutes, I should give you so much value that you should get closer to your goal, and you should give me so much value that I get closer to my goals. Only indulging in such relationships makes you very, very healthy. And avoiding relationships where you're just arguing about you are judging me, I am judging you, this kind of crap is what people sit and argue about. It's a complete waste of time. We don't need that. If somebody is, it's very easy to know if someone respects you or not. You know in a second if somebody is respecting you or not. You'll feel like shit if they're not respecting you, okay? It's basically that. You would be feeling nice. That person came. Within 30 seconds, you feel like shit. That means there's no respect, okay? The moment you don't feel respect, then you should just stop that interaction or whatever the hell you're doing together. If you're out at a dinner with this person and then you're not getting any respect, just leave. Whatever you're doing, just pick it up halfway and go. Don't stay there. That's how you maintain your health. Okay. For this, you have to believe that there are alternatives. There's always alternatives that are healthy for you, and that God has already arranged for it to be with you. You just have to let go of this one, the other one will come. It's pretty much what happens. And people are like, can we let go after the other one comes? Sometimes you can't catch hold of another one till you open your hand. So do not tolerate poisonous relationships. If it's poisoning you, just let it go. Okay. So that's precisely what keeps you healthy. And if you log your day from morning to evening, and you got mad at your father 20 times, you got mad at your mother 18 times, and then you got mad at your husband like another 40 times, you're not going to be healthy. Husband or wife, huh? It's not just one gender. There are idiots in all genders. And then you're not going to be healthy. If you just log it, yeah, log it. Like every hour, keep an alarm and say, how many times did I get mad in this hour? How many times did I get guilty in this hour? And did I feel disrespected and do things I don't want to do and have fears that I didn't want to have? And like, what are you doing with your life, man? Living as if there's some luxury of time and that nothing is happening in your body every time you indulge in shit emotions. Lots of things happen in your body when when indulge in shit emotions. Also, shit happens, and people like me have to sit and clean it up. Bloody yoga siddhas, healers. We have to clean up your kachra. Finally, come and dump it on us. Then we have to clean it up. Okay. So stop doing that. Stop being mad at each other. Then I won't have a job and I'll be very happy. Probably do something else in my life. But no, I have to teach this to people. Otherwise, I'm stuck here. Just like toilet training people. Oh my God. I don't want to be a toilet trainer, but I have to do it. I have to put out this information and the method, and I have to create people from among the mad people who have tortured me. I have to make them into healers. And that's what I'm doing. Everyone who's joined my healing course, the people have tortured me in some way or the other. From these things like being an unsolvable problem. I learned so much. All this the whole About the Mind show is stuff that I learned from students who tortured me. Like, and that's it had to be done. And it's done. Yeah, I whitened my beard in the process. I think it looks good. But my teacher told me that you if when you lose nutrition, that's when your hair turns white. You can see my hair on my head has started turning black again because I'm giving myself good nutrition, and this has to also turn black. Then I know I'm ready to I'm ready to quit this. I'm sorry. Something stuck in my throat. 1 minute. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if I'm being very abstract, but as your questions progress, I'm sure we can make it more solid.
Okay. So, if we had to compare, or if we had to look at it, healing in yoga and healing in Western medicine and Ayurveda and homeopathy, naturopathy, etc.
Hmm.
So, what, how would we differentiate them? One thing that you mentioned was looking into karma.
Hmm.
Is there any other way, or as a philosophy, how is it different from other methodologies?
So Yoga Siddha draws from anything, you know. Yoga Siddha doesn't discard allopathy or naturopathy or Unani or homeopathy or Ayurveda because they all have a piece of the puzzle. In fact, we extensively take information from Siddha system, and we also take information from uh, Ayurveda. We're also taking information from naturopathy. We're also looking into research-based stuff. So we use all the tools. We have the freedom to do it. That's yoga therapy. We're not restricted by our any beliefs or any system. So a lot of what, in fact, I do recommend allopathic solutions to some people. You know, say suppose they've got H. pylori infection really bad. I'm not going to ask them to drink neem juice. It's not going to work. They have to take antibiotics at that point. Then I'll give them a list of antibiotics they can take. You know, or if there's somebody in a really bad condition who needs uh, nothing is going to work except bark flower remedies for this person. Then I'll write him a prescription for some crab apple or something so that he stops crying. And sometimes that works. It's a stopgap arrangement before we can get him ready to deal with his thing, you know. So it depends. We are very eclectic. We draw from every tradition and every possible cure. And I have friends who are homeopaths. I have friends who are like medical doctors, conventional medical wisdom. And I have friends who are Ayurveds, and I have friends who are Siddha doctors. and we use them all as consultants in case there is something that we need to know. But yoga itself has some amazing uh, technology. It's called yoga vyayama. Nobody's heard about this. Yoga vyayama is a technique of immortality based on the 16 adharas described by Gorakshnath. And those 16 adharas govern different organs of the body. And by understanding the movements related to those 16 adharas and the meditation, it is like Qigong on steroids, this thing. It just heals anything. So, cases that are really, really bad, we make them do yoga vyayama and they recover really fast. And so, yoga vyayama is our secret weapon. And yoga psychology, where we get into karma and we understand karma very deeply. And then we get closure from past births, not from this birth. We get a closure in the past birth and the disease is closed in this birth. Okay, and all this happens like almost overnight. Just in few days, the person is just recovered. So this kind of miraculous healing is only yoga psychology and yoga vyayama. We call it yoga P and yoga V. These are the core uh, on which yoga therapy is based. And then we are also studying Western physiology, which is the study of it has to go very, very, very deep. And when we understand things on a molecular basis, biochemistry is something that we're very interested in yogic therapy, because without that, people don't respect us. And also, it is a respectable field. We should respect our biochemistry, and we have to eat the right nutrients. Without eating the right nutrients, you cannot heal. That's why I say healing is a triangle between nutrition, karma, and exercise, movement. Movement, nutrition, and karmic work. This is the healing triangle. So we use the healing triangle and then we can cure almost anything.
Is Western psychology, is yoga psychology different from Western psychology or the therapy?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like it's like Zameen Asman ka fark. It's different. Its whole approach is different. Western psychology has no concept of past birth except one guy started doing it, that Brian Weiss guy. And then after that, everybody started copying it and they got on the past birth bandwagon. They don't know what they're doing. And even if they encounter a karma, they don't know how to remove it. Nobody's taught them because it's only coming from a lineage. You got to have a lineage blessings, otherwise you can't do this. Okay? So you have to follow one of the six immortality lineages which are there in yoga. And if you don't follow one of these six, you can't cure someone. It's just that simple. You can't see the karmas. You won't be able to. You'll just run around and you'll see all sorts of stories, past life regression. You come back, how picture dekha maine. And then that's it, right? You might as well go and watch Radhe, which is uh, releasing next weekend, I think. You might as well go and watch that instead of doing all these past life regressions. It's a very regressive practice. They don't know what they're doing. Okay. So hypnotherapy and all of that tries to dabble and get into the world, the invisible world. They're using yogic tools, okay. Full on stealing has happened by NLP. They come and stolen everything from yoga, and Richard Bandler is proud of it also. He says he dangled a yogi off a cliff and then the yogi taught him everything. But then the guy is high, he doesn't know what he's saying. But because of LSD, he was able to. He came to India, he did LSD and hung out with Babas, and he learned some stuff. Then he went back and made it. He made it NLP. So the West has done a lot of stealing from us. Like, don't be surprised. They've stolen a lot of things. Okay. Western psychology afterwards uh, became very much influenced by Tibetan ideas, which were then reaching them. Tibetan ideas are Indian ideas. Okay, all of them have come from Guru Padmasambhava, who was an Indian, and following a tradition of yoga. He was following a tradition of Naga yoga, and he created a tradition of Vajra yoga, which he taught to them. So it's a yogic tradition, one of the six immortality schools, and that those ideas started to influence Jung, and Jung came up with a whole lot of collective consciousness. They just take Indian concepts and then give Western names to it. Okay, the stealing has gone on for a long time now. Okay, so it's time for us to reclaim psychology. Psychology began in India, and nobody understands it more subtly than the yogis. And it's just not even possible for Western psychology to come close to the understanding that we have. I've seen Western trained psychologists. I haven't really met a Western psychologist, but I met Western trained psychologists in India. Without exception, all of them are ignorant about the mind. They don't know, they don't have the slightest clue what the mind is. They themselves are afflicted with so many dramas. And I've inevitably ended up blocking all the psychologists who I've added on my profile because they don't have the humility to learn something from me just because I don't wear a suit. So sometimes you have to learn from half naked people and give them respect. Then you learn something worthwhile. Okay. I'm not saying this because I'm stirred up with nationalism. I don't give a shit about it. I am not a right winger. I really don't care about the agenda. But what I do care about is that we have a very respectable tradition called yoga, and today it's become a joke. And I think I'm going to do my part to fix that. People need to understand that they are in the presence of something magnificent when it comes to yoga, and it can cure their life. Lifetimes of suffering can be cured with yoga. So the difference is having tools. We have tools. We know worship. We've got mantras. We've got all sorts of tools that can go into the mind and then heal it. And it makes us very powerful. Not only to heal, if we want to, we can even destroy. But being a yogi means to have control over that, over your anger, so that you don't go and destroy someone. My ancestor was Durvasa Muni on my father's side. My mother's side, it's Ekalavya. And Durvasa Muni is known for losing his school and cursing people, but then that was his karma. Because he cursed Nahusha, Naga Yoga came about. Because Nahusha learned yoga from Ashoka Tripura Sundari, and that's the starting of where yoga comes from. Not many people know this. So it's a living tradition, man. It's a living tradition, and we keep adding to that tradition, and we keep collecting stuff, and it's all there. There's so much knowledge all there. Even I don't know how much I know sometimes. I tell people I don't have memory because my head is full of the Vedas. I don't have memory left. I can't even remember stuff like ordinary stuff because it doesn't register. It's not important. So every time I meet someone, it's almost like I'm meeting them for the first time. I don't have baggage, and people can't understand why I don't have baggage. Like why? So some people I make a note and I remind myself by blocking them. So when they contact me from another number, and then they say, "Why did you block me?" And I said, "Yeah, there must have been some reason. I don't remember." I block them again because I don't remember. Anyway, so the thing is, to get in touch with the yogic tradition, you must have karma, first of all, to do it. And you must have sincerity on top of that. If you have the karma and then you have the sincerity to learn yoga and become a yoga siddha, when a yogi offers you the opportunity to learn, you take it. You don't sit and argue there about how you can't do it. And this is not, nobody's invited you into a medical degree that you have to sit and argue so much. It's a living tradition. And if you get an invitation to be a yoga siddha, take it. Because unless you have the potential to be one, you'll not even be invited. Can you find any website about, people ask me, where's the website for Yoga Siddhi course? I want to be a yogic healer. Where's your website? I'm like, there's no website. There'll never be one. Yes, we have an LMS. We have a learning management system, but no website. There's no landing page for learning yoga. And this month, I'm having enrollments for Yoga Siddhi. Maybe 20 people are going to enroll. So even without any website, no advertisement, I'm creating healers every 6 months. I'm popping out healers who will heal thousands of people. It's happening in the background. I don't need to make a fuss about it. It's just going on. Okay. See this guy asking useless questions. Let's answer it. What is the Kala branch of yogis and how Kalas and Nathas are different or same? Also, are Shabar mantras psychological tools? Yes, Shabar mantras are psychological tools, and Shabra is the unspoken language of the universe. So, Shabar mantras are very powerful, but you must be initiated in them. Okay. So, somebody asked, why do I have to be initiated into mantras by gurus? Why can't I just read the mantras all by myself? This was asked by a king to a yogi. And the yogi told the king's guards, kill that guy, kill him, kill that guy sitting on the throne. And then the king got pissed off because the guy's going on asking the guards to kill him. And he said, hey, arrest this fellow. Put him in jail for 10 days. Let's see what he says. Immediately they caught him and they're taking him away. I said, listen, when you said it, they did right. When I said they didn't do anything right. That's why when you get mantras from a guru, he has the status to use those mantras. Otherwise, they're just sounds. Nobody's going to listen. I also made sounds. Kill this guy. They didn't respond to those sounds. The universe is not going to respond to your sounds just because you read it in one book you got in the railway station that said Shabar mantras. That's not how you receive Shabar mantras. You have to receive it from a guru. And then when you receive it from a guru, then it has its effect. Otherwise, you're just like not going to be able to cure anything. Okay? And you'll be surprised that the Shabar mantras, actual ones, are different from what you receive in the railway station from some hawker on the street. That's not where you get Shabar mantras from. Okay, that's about Shabar mantras. Let's see. What is the Kaula branch of yoga? Kaula means Kula plus Akula. Kula is your Kundalini and Akula is everything else. And a person who can enjoy Kula and Akula together is a Kaula. Nath is a yoga school of immortality. And Kala is just a concept in Tantra. It's not a school. Okay? It's not a branch of yoga. It's a branch of Tantra. Discourses given from Bhairava to Bhairavi or Bhairavi to Bhairava. Bhairava to Bhairavi, they're called Agamas, and Bhairavi to Bhairava, they're called Nigamas. So there are 64 such tantras. Nobody has the textbooks except my teacher. The 64 textbooks of Tantra. Nobody has the complete textbooks. They've got half and half and half and piece here. With those pieces only, these fools like Woodruff and who's that other guy? Author Avalon. Who, and then some, who's that guy who calls himself the most evil beast? All these clowns, okay? A lot of Western clowns came and then started writing books about it. And then Indians came to know from the Western clowns that, oh, we have all this in India. Because Indians were so busy licking their boots. Okay. And then that's how Kala became a branch of yoga. Loosely, anything has happened. And the Indian today doesn't even know Sanskrit, cannot even read, can't even pronounce. And all the textbooks are written in Sanskrit. But it's okay, you don't need textbooks. Forget the textbooks, you need a teacher. The Indians have forgotten how to respect teachers. They respect Dhongi Babas. They don't know who's a real teacher. They don't know. Because real teacher will slap you. Real teacher will never tell you you're amazing and then give you something to feel good, no? A real teacher will never make you feel good. You'll always feel on edge. You'll always feel challenged when you go to real teacher. You can never feel good. Then you know you're in a real teacher's presence. Because you'll be uncomfortable every day. He'll be pushing you to do some uncomfortable things every day. Okay? But people want comfort. They want a blanket. They're confused between a teacher and a blanket. A teacher's job is opposite of blanket. Blanket is to make you comfortable. A teacher's job is to keep slapping you and then keep making you uncomfortable, allowing you to suffer and say, now are you ready to learn? Now are you ready to learn? Now are you ready to learn? Teachers have infinite patience. Kabir used to, one of my teachers called Ibrahim, okay? He's a Persian immortal. And he was Kabir's student. And Kabir followed him like for 3 births. Yeah, 3 births. They were in quick succession. He died, then he was born as a buffalo for some time. And then within 2 years, he was eaten. And then his skin became a drum, and then he was in the drum. That's his third birth, and that got cut within 1 week. And then his soul got released, and it became a, a prince in Persia, Prince of Persia. And then in 4 births, so Kabir kept on asking him 4 births. Have you had enough? Do you want to learn? Even when he became a prince, yeah, have you had enough now? You want to learn? You got human body again. You want to waste this or you want to take it? Right. So teachers follow you around for births sometimes. All right. So what is this Kala branch of yoga? It's not a branch of yoga. It's a branch of Tantra. It's a concept in Tantra where we work with Kundalini and then you use Kundalini Shakti to influence everything that is not Kundalini Shakti. So it's Kula plus Akula becomes Kala. That's basically what it is. What is Kundalini Shakti? It is Shakti who separated herself from Shiva. She doesn't want to be part of Shiva. She's separated herself, and it's very much required. Okay, if you think the ideal of a marriage is Ardhanarishwara, will be joined at the hip. That's good when you're having sex. After that, please unjoin yourself from the hip and have a life of your own. That is Shakti. Okay, she's trying to have a life of her own without Shiva. That is Kundalini. But people don't understand that's Kundalini. They want to beat Kundalini and make her merge with Shiva again. That is not Kaula. That is stupidity. Okay. So there are a lot of stupid things also written in text. This is written in a textbook. That you have to beat Kundalini and make her go merge with Shiva on the top floor or on top of your head. And then the Western guys copied it. What is Yoga Upanishads? Can anyone respect Yoga Upanishads? No, they were just written for the sake of it. They're not really that based in real yoga or immortal yoga. They don't understand anything. They're just talking. There are a lot of textbooks that are based out of the Yoga Upanishad. So people read whatever textbook is easy to read. Like Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, only 196 words. Let's read it. Okay, but there's a lot before that also which happened. And Patanjali has a volume of writings in Tamil. Has anyone bothered to read it? No. So, yeah, that's the answer for this question. Okay. Hope you got your answer, Abhinav.
Okay. Does our soul also require healing apart from mind and body?
Of course, because the soul is the one that sustains all this karma. Where do you think all this karma is? The soul is the thinnest division that you feel as an individual, right?
Mm.
Drop away everything that is not you, and still there's a sense of I am. Even if you drop everything, you become formless. You're just energy, and still you feel I am. I am. And there are as soon as you say I am, then others are as well. You divided the universe into others and yourself. And this is what Shakti does, right? So that soul is always constantly evolving. And life is all about soul. Life is not about your awards and achievements. Life is about healing the soul and removing all the afflictions that have beset your soul. So, really, healing is healing the soul. If you can heal the soul, the body will be beautiful. The body will become immortal if you heal the soul. Okay? Because the body is just a reflection of your soul. What all has happened to your body is only a reflection of all the damage that is there in your soul. So, of course, the soul needs healing.
Why do mental illnesses happen according to you? Like depression, schizophrenia, borderline personality, or even OCD?
Everything that you mentioned are not illnesses. In yoga, we understand that they're not illnesses, they're strategies which have been deployed to become powerful without actually earning the power by being of value. Think about it deeply. Schizophrenia, depression, all of it make people powerful. The one who is suffering, it makes them the center of the universe. And a lot of people are affected by their behavior, and so they have so much sense of power. Not that they're deliberately doing it, they didn't hatch a plan to do it, but it happened. They behaved mentally disturbed and they just saw the power and then they're like, oh, here's a hack. Here's a hack to power. Let me use it. Even that decision they may not have had that conversation, but somewhere their morals allowed it. And that's how mental illnesses go on increasing in this world. Okay. There are genuinely like brain damaged people, and they can have some mental illness, but that will be just like a physical illness. They won't be getting a sense of power out of it. But the moment they start empowering themselves with the illness, then it's already a mental illness. In fact, most of the people with chronic physical disease have mental illness also. But the chronic physical disease takes all the center stage because you can see it. You can't see the mental illness, which is subtly feeling like I'm such an unsolvable problem for everyone's solution. That means by corollary, I must be amazing. And that happens, and then we have to catch it. I train my yogis, my yoga siddhas to catch this. And their under training is a hard training, man. The training I give people is hard training. I put them on real cases. They're not prepared for it. They take up real cases and then they're just like, whoa. Then they're like, I also used to do this. In curing others, they realize their own mental illness and they get cured. And then they'll be able to cure others as well. You need to know your way out of that crap, and that is just power, power mongering. You want power, that's why you're sick. A lot of people are sick today because they want power. They want to show their father, who's a surgeon, that you, despite being such a big doctor, you couldn't cure your own son. You haven't taken care of him. This kind of stuff. And then that karma, they just want to get even. And it's not even get even, they just, you conclude that somebody's evil, then you go on punishing them for the rest of their life. There's no redemption only for them. And to have a chronic disease is a punishment for other people as well. I mean, you are punishing yourself, but you don't even realize it. So sometimes you're so high that you don't realize it. You enjoy the status. It's a status. Having a disease is a status. So we have to be very careful about not making our disease a status. And many of the mental diseases that you mentioned are usually just statuses. And I've cured a lot of these people. Schizophrenics, depressives, OCD cases. What was the other one you mentioned?
Schizophrenia, borderline.
Borderline personality. Yeah, I've cured many of those cases. Borderline personality. After 2 slaps from me, they're not so borderline anymore. Like emotional slaps. I don't hit anyone physically. Although maybe I should start considering it. No, I'm joking. I never get angry with my patients.
Can a person get possessed by evil spirits, and can yoga help in this case?
Yeah. Yoga has, and I teach my yoga siddhas exorcism. And I think it's very important to know exorcism. Otherwise, you'll be always scared of evil spirits. Evil spirits can do a lot of shit, man. I mean, they're not really evil spirits. It's just like, there's nothing evil about them. Evil is a moral judgment, okay? They're violent spirits. Let's put it that way. They're not good or bad, they're just violent. What is the nature? The nature is violence. So we have to understand how to deal with violent people. If you understand how to deal with violent people, you actually dealt with violent spirits, because nobody gets violent unless possessed by a violent spirit. Did you know that? All violence is triggered by violent spirits, even emotional violence. So possession is a lot more common than we realize. Every time you're getting violently angry at someone, there's some spirit over there triggering it. And we have to catch them and we have to say, hey, this is not happening. You can't use my body for your violent agenda. Go be violent somewhere else. Without judgment, you should be able to catch the spirit and send it away. And then when they see in that way, they're not respected, they leave. They understand that you don't have any respect for their thoughts. They put thoughts in your head. If you start respecting those thoughts, then you'll get possessed. Then you'll get more and more into self-destructive behavior. And also other people destructive behavior. You start destroying others as well. Okay? So you really you need to be careful about where you hear the voice from, okay? When you have a thought, think, where am I hearing it from? Usually spirits whisper in your left ear. Angels whisper in your right ear. And your own thoughts come from the center. But most people don't know this. They're listening to the left thought also, listening to the right thought also, listening to the center thought also, and then they say, I'm so confused, I don't know what to do. I teach all this in yoga psychology. How to listen to your own thoughts. Where are your own thoughts coming from? How do you know if they're your own thoughts? So spirits can definitely come and put thoughts in your head. If you don't respect the thoughts, they'll go away. They'll find another place where you have to respect. They can't do anything. They don't have a physical body. They can't physically do anything. But there are elementals. Elementals are bhutas. They're different, okay? They can even make physical things fly around. And they are not in a bad mood like violent spirits. They're not always in a bad mood. Violent spirits are basically uh, people who feel that there's so much injustice, they become violent spirits, They're called hungry ghosts in Buddhist nomenclature. Anybody who sits and meditates will come across spirits and ghosts. And they have to learn how to categorize it. If you haven't come across spirits and ghosts in your meditation, you are not doing meditation. If you don't know any spirit work, then what you learned is not meditation. What you learned is law of attraction, gratitude.
How
Anyway,
will
so there's a lot to learn. Yeah. What?
how will someone know whether is it just through the thoughts, or do they see also something, some form?
You see sometimes, or you see a form, you can feel pressure or a touch, or you feel creepy, or you feel something cold. All that can happen. Then you got to acknowledge the presence of a spirit. You can get a really bad smell, and you know some spirit has come. You ask what they want. It's common, yeah. My healers are always like looking at spirits, talking to them, helping out. We need this. We need a foot into the invisible world. We have to live in the invisible world with confidence. We have to deal with the beings of the invisible world as well. You can't be only dealing with the beings that have bodies, because the beings without bodies also can cause havoc. And you might have runanubandhas with spirits. That's karmic connections of violence, like some unfinished business, yeah, basically. Unfinished anger, guilt. It couldn't happen because one of you died. And then now they're back. I've been beset by such problems for years and years. I didn't know how to remove it till I met my guru and he trained me. And even after I met him and he trained me, I was still getting into mess. And then finally, in August, he taught me, this August, very recently, less than a year ago, he taught me how to remove karma. Only after that, I started teaching the Yoga Siddhas.
Uh, can yogis send healing through distance, as in without any kind of communication or contact with the patient?
Yeah, because essentially there is no distance. All the distance that you're seeing is being created by your mind. There is really no distance. Yogis know this, so they can send healing anywhere. We cured so many people, man, of corona. We have a Facebook group. You're part of it, and there's 100 other people there. 100 people who know how to use karma visarjana tools, and we cured a lot of people. And I even taught some of them how to help other spirits to transition. Like they all lost loved ones because of corona, and they didn't know how to help them to transition into the living world again. Because they got ejected into the world of the dead. How to bring them back in the living world? Not in this form, but in another form. So all those techniques I've taught in this group. And they're healing people from a distance who they've never seen. They don't even know. Even if you don't know the name, you can heal them.
Do asanas play a role in healing?
Yes,
Asking
they do.
especially given the context of how yoga is popular in mainstream media.
Yeah, but Something like Chamatkar asana and Nataraj asana is not useful in healing. There are certain asanas which are useful for healing. Siddhasana, Vajrasana, and Swastikasana, Padmasana, Simhasana. There are certain asanas which are useful in healing. Not all of them, yeah?
Okay.
In fact, there are 64 asanas which are useful in healing.
So, okay. So, how does pranayam help in healing the body?
Pranayam moves the prana. There are 10 kinds of prana or vayus, electric winds traveling in the body. By controlling the electric winds via your breath, you know, because your lungs can control the circulation in the body, you can control the lymphatic circulation as well, you can control even nerve currents. Everything that circulates in the body can be controlled by your breath. So by controlling circulation, you'll be able to heal certain things. For example, if somebody's got uh, inflammation in their lungs because of corona or something, and it needs to be healed, right? SpO2 levels are falling. So just mindful breathing around that place, just visualizing your breath going into your lungs, cleaning it and coming out. If you just do that visualization for 30 minutes, your SpO2 levels will start shooting up. You don't have to panic. You can take control of your breath. I was about to die in Lahore in the mountains, and everyone thought it's altitude sickness. I'm like, I've been higher than this and I never had a problem because I drank something, fermented drink, which had some real bad pathogens in it, and they started affecting my lungs. I was not able to breathe. So all I did was sit mindfully and just allow every breath to become healing. I felt that liquid prana is going into my lungs and liquid prana is coming out of my nose. I just sat there and I kept doing. Within 5 minutes, I started feeling better. In half an hour of breathing, I was able to go from there to Manali in a cab. Otherwise, I was going to die there in the hospital out of mysterious circumstances. None of their everyone's diagnosis is this is altitude sickness. I'm like, no, how can it be altitude sickness, man? I've lived in the mountains for years. So just using pranayama, I was able to cure myself that day. I've used pranayama in so many acute cases. It can be used even to control pain and reduce pain. It can be used to heal things rapidly. It can be used to increase your brain capacity. Pranayama can be used, it's an internal massage with energy. Qigong comes from pranayama. And
Chi-
yeah, yeah, a lot of traditions, you know, even in the even in Russia and even in Scandinavia, people have breathing traditions which have all gone from India. It was taken there by Skandar, Shiva's son. After that drama pulled by Ganesh, he left Kailash. He said, "I'm not staying with you guys. It's a madhouse," and he quit. But he took all this knowledge to. He went and sat in the North Pole apparently. So he took all this knowledge to that area. That's a legend in the Puranas.
okay. How can someone know that they need healing?
They need healing. How can someone know that they need healing? Your life will be shit. Just look at it. You'll have no respect from anyone. You'll have no health. You'll have no energy. You'll have no money sometimes. And you won't be happy. Then you should really go and look for a healer. I mean, if you want to get better, if you're enjoying all this, if you're power tripping, how can you be? You start needing healing when you give up the power trip, the hack that you found to use uh, the disease as a status. If you use the disease as a status, then you're finished. You'll need healing, but you'll never get it. You never look for it. You'll die then. Dog's death.
Do the patient need to do anything while undergoing healing? Do they need to take care of something, or is it just passive reception?
No, no, they do have to take care of things. Like I told you, it's a triangle. Your food, nutrition, um, your exercise, yoga vyayama. You have to do the yoga vyayama, and that discipline has to be done by the student. And then there's karmic visarjan, karma visarjan, which also they have to do. So they have to do discipline. It's not like you can't get healed. You just lie down and get healed. It's not a massage. You have to participate in it. It'll be a priority at that point. So there's nothing else more important than getting healed. Then you can get healed. Then only you can indulge in all this discipline. There's no healing without discipline.
Some people I spoke to, they were like, I want to learn or I want to get healed, but I
Hmm.
can't time my diet because I like
They
to
don't
eat.
want to get healed. They're enjoying the status of being sick. Look closely. If you observe closely, you'll find out that they're not interested to be healed. They're enjoying the status and the power that comes from it. Some power over somebody insignificant. But for them, it's very significant. They're like, I have power over this person. That's enough for me. They call them as significant others. How you make one human being significant? Because you're bullying them. Busy doing this shit. Using your disease to bully them. I've seen so many families in distress because one person is chronically ill. And nobody will bell the cat except yoga siddhas because we're not scared. But we do cure people at the end of the day. So if curing you needs slapping you, we'll slap you.
The next question was, how can someone sabotage their own healing? But I guess you've already answered it. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what can they do to prevent from themselves from sabotaging their own healing?
They can't prevent themselves from sabotaging. They want it. How can how can you prevent yourself from doing something that you want to do? It's giving you enjoyment. You're enjoying it. How can you stop? You're getting rewarded for it by your brain. How can you stop? They can't stop. They need to feel some real pain for their actions, real consequence. When they get real consequence, then they'll stop. That also, you just wait. They'll do it. This guy's running amok. So I just like relax. Say, try again next birth. With his saying, slaps work beautifully.
How will someone know that they are healed, that they have healed completely? The life will be awesome.
Yeah, so what will happen is you won't be dependent on anyone for a living. You'll be able to kind of earn your own money by being of value and helping other people to achieve their goals. Then you'll have no complaints, man. You'll not feel that anybody has done injustice to you. And your body will experience health. You won't have any aches and pains, obesity, pimples, nothing you'll have. You won't have any minor symptoms like acidity. Nothing. You don't have symptoms. And finally, you'll have great relationships. Every second you spend with people will be adding value to them so that they can get closer to their goals. You'll have a lot of respect as well. So then you're healed. Strange answer, no? People say, oh, you just need a blood pressure of 120 by 80 and a temperature of so much, and then you're healed. On all the blood tests, you're healed. No, that's not healed. You can have perfect blood tests and still not be healed.
What changes would someone need to make in their lifestyle while undergoing healing? So you mentioned healing triangle. So
Yes,
what would
so
their daily day with? How would their daily day will change because of that?
to stop drama lifestyle, they have to stop it. They have to stop behaving like they're employed by Ekta Kapoor. And then they have to stop a lot of things like alcohol, cigarette smoking, uh, eating non-veg indiscriminately, eating eggs and dairy products, which are all making them sick. Starting to get and source substitute stuff for all this, which actually makes them healthy. So they've got to substitute healthy habits for all the crap habits. And they have to meet the therapist once in 15 days at least and check on their progress, get coached. They have to take coaching. They have to have the discipline to make it to those appointments and implement everything that they've been asked to implement. But discipline, I told you, discipline is when you have enough pain, you'll be automatically disciplined. You don't have to struggle. You'll be automatically disciplined. Okay? There's no point trying to be disciplined when you don't have any pain. Don't change your lifestyle if you don't have pain. If you have pain, then you can't help it. You will change your lifestyle. Wait for it. Pain is coming. Just wait. It'll come. When it comes, you can change. No need to change now.
How can one become a healer, a yoga healer?
Right now, you have to be invited by me. If you have the good luck to be invited by me, then come and just take the invitation. Yeah. And I don't think we're ever going to be advertising this. It's going to happen organically. You're going to have to hang around with me, then you'll become a healer. You got to watch all my episodes of About the Mind. You got to watch all the content I put out on YouTube. And somewhere inside you, there has to be the passion to go and make other people better. If you find that's important for you, because I'm just healing people so that I have friends. Seriously, I'm telling you, this is why I'm healing people. Otherwise, I can't even speak to most of humanity because you don't know what friendship is. I'm definitely healing people to make friends. There's no doubt in my mind. I need friends who are yogis, who are yoga siddhas. Then only I can feel secure on this earth. I'm doing all this for my own security. But I'm very motivated because I really understand that every person is a gem. Every person is a unique gem. And they need to be polished, and then we can see how much light they give. So I'm happy to do that polishing because I get to enjoy their light. If I make them well, then I get to enjoy what they have to give. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
ये देखो. Good question though. Can we heal depression distantly without the person knowing? Is there any specific mantra or kriya? You heal your depression first. Don't try to heal other people's depression because every depression word I tell you, it's not a disease. How can you heal something that's not a disease? Depression is not a disease. Depression is a strategy for power, which leads to other diseases in the body. Because you become so power hungry. It's a shortcut to power. So don't empower depressed people. Okay, I hope I answered your question. And after Yoga Siddha's course, do we need to see practical experience with you before practicing? Yes, of course, you'll be interning. We'll give you actual patients. And then you had to step out of your comfort zone and cure them. Then only you'll get certification. I don't certify people who are useless. Okay, hope I answered your questions. Any other questions, audience? You've all been very quiet today except Abhinav. Nobody wants any answers. Got all your answers in life. I know this has gone on for a long time, 1 hour and 15 minutes, my God. Yeah, so if you're all ready to let me go have dinner, then I'm going to go have dinner. Or if you have a question, ask. I'm happy to answer. We can go on till 9:30. After that, I'm leaving. Nobody has questions. Great. Live audience on YouTube, any questions? Live audience on Facebook, any questions? Here is one question. Oh, no, not a question. It's a comment. Shweta says, got value. Okay, great. All right, guys. If you got value from this talk, hit share immediately. Hit share immediately. We give you value every day and you don't hit share. What is this? What is this? I cannot understand why you would not share this talk. Okay? Share it and say, here's the secret, yoga secret. Can you give example of disease versus strategy? When the person has ended all the strategy, then what they're left with is disease. Okay? Depression itself is not a disease. You're just getting high on it. Okay? But later it causes real damage in the body. If there is real damage in the body, like adrenal hyperfunction, that's a disease. That's a real disease. Depression is nothing. It's not a real disease. There is no brain component to depression. People say someone is clinically depressed when they have less serotonin levels. Then it's a disease. That's a disease called clinical depression, which has you have less serotonin. That's a disease. So then we can cure it. But if someone just says I'm depressed and the serotonin levels are going high and high and high, because initially it goes high. The, the person who starts getting depressed has discovered a way to release serotonin every day without actually earning it. because serotonin only gets earned by a lot of status, right? So then the intestine stop producing serotonin. Like it can't even produce serotonin because you've been so high and you've gone on releasing cortisol as well. You don't have stomach acid and you can't produce serotonin anymore. And then it's turning into a disease slowly. When it changes the body's biochemistry, it's a disease. Diseases can be cured. Strategies how to cure. Again, diseases can be cured because they have symptoms and they have pain. Strategies, there's no pain. Okay? Yeah, Kunal says, got it. All right, Sunil says, thank you. Okay, I hope everybody learned something and I hope you're generous enough to share it. Okay, if you're conjuice and you're not going to share, write I am conjuice in the chat box. And if you're going to share it, just hit share. Okay, thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Ashri.
Thank you, Yuvraj. Thank you so much.